Hey guys, Mr. Mime Jr here, and in today's video I'm going to be showcasing Lucario in the Master League Premier Classic. Now, Lucario is a fighting steel type Pokemon from the Sinnoh region that evolves from Riolu when its friendship is high during the daytime. Lucario maxes out at 2,737 CP when it is a perfect IV and best buddy equipped. Its moveset consists of Counter, Power Up Punch, and Shadow Ball, and I decided to pair it up with Metagross and Togepi to see how well it went, and to be honest, it went alright. It didn't go good, but I was pretty amused by how well it went though, due to Lucario's poor frailty. Now taking a look at the team comp, this team is okay. I will say though, it is not a team that I recommend to build for climbing. It is more of a fun pick than anything, since this is an interlude season and the ranking just goes up to 20 in season 11 of Go Battle League. But other than that, it's alright though. Moving on to the first battle, we got Mammal Swine lead versus Metagross. Now this is basically a good lead. They save swap in the Gyarados and I respond that with Togepi. I decided to not shield the Aqua Tail since, you know, we can just let it go, and since Dragon Breath is doing double resisted damage to Togepi, we can safely farm it down and leave with a lot of energy. And I guess I will have to shield? Oh no, I guess we don't have to, so that's nice. So they decided to bring back in the Mammal Swine, and I know I have a Flamethrower loaded. And I know I could have like thrown the Ancient Power, but I decided it's full send, and of course they decided to shield. So thinking to myself, I decided to go into Lucario, and I decided to shield just in case it was a Bulldoze, because you know, even with resistances, Lucario is so frail that it would basically like take like more than half of its health down with Avalanche, since Avalanche is more powerful and Bulldoze is not. So he shields the Power Up Punch and I throw the Shadow Ball and almost take him out, and I realized he had Mud Shot. Now for the next match, we got a Togekiss lead, and of course we all know how to play it out. They stay swap in the Garchomp and I respond to Togekiss, and we don't have to shield anything. I know this is not a Fire Blast, so I decide to let it go. It ends up becoming an Earth Power, and they didn't get the defense drop, and we could just farm it all the way down. So they bring in their Togekiss again, and I decide to go for the double Ancient Power. They managed to sneak, which I did not like, and they decided to shield, and then I decided to throw the second one. And what do you know? I ended up getting both of their shields. So we won switch advantage, and they lost shield advantage. I decided to bring in Metagross and decided to shield last minute in case it was a Flamethrower, which it was. And then they decided to stay swap in the Dragonite and they lose. Now for the third match, we got Metagross and the Snorlax. Now, to be honest, this lead is kind of scary, and then they stay swap into Salamence with Fire Fang, and I decided to farm it all the way down with Togekiss. Beautiful. So they bring in their Togekiss of their own, and you know, come to think of it, like, I don't often see like Salamence in the PvP scene because, well, it's very frail, its moves are very slow, and we managed to get the boost, and we ended up simultaneously KOing each other. Since their last Pokemon is a Snorlax, I decided to click on Lucario, and of course we get a lot of lag, and resuming the match, we end up facing Metagross, and we managed to get a Meteor Mash through, which is nice, and we decided to no shield anything because, you know, let's save our shields for later, you know, like that type of deal. And of course, I decided to stay swapping Lucario and just farm it down. And I decided to not shield because I don't think they're going to throw the superpower. And of course, they bait me with Body Slam and they quit. Now for the fourth match, Metagross and the Dragonite. Now, I was not expecting that this Dragonite had Draco Meteor. Usually I expect Dragon Claw and Hurricane because that is the most common set for Dragonite, and therefore you would have coverage against Fairy types with Hurricane. And instead he's running full send with Draco Meteor, so I decided to throw the Bone Punch and then charm him with Togekiss. And of course they bring in Magnezone that is running Charge Beam? What? Who runs Charge Beam? We managed to get the sneak with the charm. I decided to no shield. I clicked on the Flamethrower, but we lose CMP because, well, Magnezone has very high attack, much higher than Togekiss's. And I decided to wait out my switch clock and bring out Lucario, and they bring in Garchomp, and this is kind of scary, to be honest. I decided to shield just to be safe. It ends up becoming a Sand Tomb, and I'll say this, it was lucky though, because you can't expect Lucario to take a hit very well. And I got the shield, and of course, what do you know? They get the second shield. Like, And I also decided to use Metagross as a sponge, thinking I was going to catch Sand Tomb, but that's okay. So I decided to go for the Shadow Ball because I don't want to take any precautions with Power Up Punch and then killing me with Sand Tomb. So they bring back in the Magnezone, and that's GG's. Moving on to the next match, we got Metagross into Excadrill. Now this is a very, very scary lead. Excadrill just destroys my whole team. Basically, like, you know, it has coverage against Togekiss with Rock and all that good stuff. I decided to throw the Meteor Mash the same time they throw their second drill run, and to be fair, I wasn't expecting that Metagross would win CMP, and apparently it did, and so basically I decided to double shield. I know it's silly, but you know, what can you really do? So we simultaneously swap, and they have Gyarados that runs Waterfall. They probably swapped because they thought I was going to throw the Earthquake, but I decided to hold off for my energy, so I decided to throw the Ancient Power. They sneak a Waterfall in, which I'm like brutal, and I almost take them out, but then they got to the Aqua Tail, and I was like very upset. Like, not gonna lie. So I didn't want to like burn out my switch clock. They decided to bring back an Excadrill. I'm gonna full send the Earthquake, hoping they don't shield, and sure enough, they don't. Their last Pokemon ends up becoming a Garchomp, and I'll say this, I was like very mad. So I catch the Sand Tomb onto Lucario, and I decided to throw the Shadow Ball, but I didn't want to take precaution. I should have used Power Up Punch, but I know for a fact they wouldn't shield it, since you know the counts for Power Up Punch. It's always 5 counters, you know. It's basically what it's like with the Champ's Cross Chop, and of course we ended up losing by 1 turn, which is sad. Moving on to the next match, we got a Walrein lead. Now, Walrein does beat Metagross if you incorrectly shield the Icicle Spear. So they bring in Garchomp, and I bring in Togekiss, and I decide to not shield because I know for a fact that we can survive anything. And I know Fire Blast wouldn't be that necessary, especially how much Garchomp had for its viability. So they bring back in the Walrein, and I decide to throw the Ancient Power to do some super effective damage. It's not a lot, but it's a decent amount if you think about it. They throw the Icicle Spear, and a lot of lag is going on, and we almost beat it, so we decided to bring in Metagross, and we decided to let it go, and it ends up becoming an Earthquake, which really, really hurt us, and they have a Gyarados in the back. Come to think of it, this is kind of tough to do because, you know, like, Gyarados is basically one of those team comps that you see in the Master League, like, you know, in the Master Premier Classic to be specific, and I decided to bring in Lucario, decided to no-shield the first Aqua Tail and then shield up the second 2, just to play it safe. So I decided to shield, and you know, we're down 2 shields and they have 1 left. I decided to throw the Power Up Punch last minute before I go down, and they shielded, thinking I was going to go for a Shadow Ball. They tried to catch with Walrein but fail, and I managed to win the game. So GG's there, trainer. Boom. Moving on to the next match, we got Metagross and the Gyarados. Now, usually with Gyarados leads, you can't tell if they're running Waterfall. I decided to go into Togekiss, they respond with Magnezone, and of course, they could just spam Mirror Shot. There's no reason to go for the Wild Charge because, well, if you go for a Wild Charge, then it wouldn't be necessary. And I decided to no shield, and we survive with 1 HP, but then we get the attack debuff. So I throw the Ancient Power, and they shield it for some reason, which I was not expecting. Like, usually with Magnezone, you don't shield against the Ancient Power because of how weak it is. So I bring in Lucario, and I decide to shield just in case it was a Wild Charge, in which it was, so that's nice. And then we, even though we lost Switch Advantage, we managed to take back, I don't know, anything is possible for us, you know. So I Shadow Ball him, and then I try to catch, and I fail to. I know for a fact we won't survive a Sand Tomb. We barely do. We bring back in Metagross, they bring back in Gyarados, and sometimes I always wish to myself that I had Psychic, and apparently I don't, which is stupid, and they shielded think I did have Psychic, because, you know, like, Psychic would provide neutral coverage, but it is weaker than Meteor Mash, though. Like, when you take in consideration Metagross's moveset. Like, with Psychic, you have more advantage against fighting types, but with Earthquake, you have advantage against fire types and steel types that are in the Master League, and to be fair, it's just not right. And of course, we had some lag and we lose. So we have a Togekiss lead, and that's very good. We do have to watch out for Flamethrower. They swap into Snorlax the same time I swap into Lucario. I decided to no shield, thinking he was going to bait me, in which he did. So I threw the 2 power-up punches thinking, I'll do some excessive chip damage to him, just figured it might be how it is. And that's exactly what I did. So I throw in the 2 power-up punches. I decided to no shield again in case he's going to bait me again. And it worked out in my favor. We ended up taking out the Snorlax and we won switch advantage. So they're going to bring back in the Togekiss, and I decided to bring in Metagross. They swapped in the Gyarados, and I bring in my own Togekiss, and what do you know? It's Waterfall Gyarados. Like, it's been so common lately. Like, what's with Waterfall on Gyarados? Like, I know it's not a common move, but still, it's just not right. And, of course, we clicked on Ancient Power, and we lose CMP, because we all know Togekiss is not, like, an attack-weighted Pokemon. It's more on the defense weighted, and we take it out with Ancient Power. So their last Pokemon is Togekiss. I bring in Metagross. I know we have a shield disadvantage, and I decided to shield what in case it was a flamethrower, and of course we end up getting baited with Ancient Power, and they boost at the same time, and my only win con was to farm down, which I did. So our next match is another Togekiss lead, and what do you know, there's been so many, and he swaps into Waterfall Gyarados, and quite honestly, I feel like this is like a team comp that it's been, like, you know, Togekiss, Gyarados, like, they pair very well together, like, you know, though the thing is, you do have to watch out for electric types such as Magnezone. We managed to get the boost, so we decided to shield just in case, you know, because, you know, the boost is nice and everything, and we took switch advantage, so that's nice. So they bring in Excadrill, and, you know, come to think of it, I decided to throw the Ancient Power just for the lulz, hoping they don't shield. And of course they do, which is kind of unsmart. Like, why would you shield an Ancient Power? So I caught the Rock Slide onto Lucario, and then they bring back in the Togekiss to, like, snipe me with Charm. And it, like, look at those charms. Like, they really hurt Lucario. It's so frail that it dies to anything. That even if it is resisted or is neutral, it just dies like that. It just gets out of the field like a snap. So basically I bring in Metagross, and I shield last second thinking it's a flamethrower, and it is. So thank goodness I shield. I wasn't too sure if Metagross won CMP, but I remembered that Metagross did win CMP, so it was kind of silly for me to bring in Togekiss, but it is what it is. Sea Slippy, you can't, like, predict the past. You can always expect the future and stuff. Moving on to the next match, we got a Walrein lead, and we know how to play it out. We count to 9 Powder Snows to make sure that we don't shield the first Icicle Spear, and then shield the second just in case it is an Earthquake. We throw the Meteor Mash the same time they throw their charge move. They shield, and I decide to shield myself in case it was an Earthquake, in which it is. So thank goodness for that. That was a very big shield. So they bring in Gyarados with Waterfall, and I have Togekiss. And, you know, those charms are very chunkin', but those Waterfalls are too. So he throws off the Aqua Tail, and, you know, it's just all fun and games and stuff. And quite honestly, I'd really rather take a switch advantage than anything. We managed to get, like, a visual glitch with those shields. I just don't know why it does that, though. So we won switch advantage, which is very nice, but we have no shields left, which kind of sucks for me, to be honest. And they were able to farm us down. I know I can't go into Metagross because then they're just going to farm up extra energy and then hit me with an Earthquake. So I decided to bring in Lucario, and their last just so happened to be a Swampert. I catch the Hydro Cannon last minute, which was very nice. And of course, now come to think of it, I know I shouldn't have thrown the Earthquake, but I decided to play it safe, and of course they shielded. And I was, like, kind of upset though, like, not gonna lie. Because I decided to go for a Meteor Mash, and at the time I wasn't thinking, like, if Lucario could win CMP, so I blind throw the power-up punch. I under-tap it too, just to make sure it worked, and then sure enough, I won. And of course, a bonus match, just nothing special. This is just for the lulz. I know this is not anything special, but I guess this made, like, good use for Lucario to act as a punching bag to its opponent, and sure enough, it is. I just don't understand what my opponent was thinking. I just really didn't expect that would happen, though. Like, why? So, in conclusion, is Lucario worth building up for the Master League? No. It's very underpowered, it is very frail, its lots of resistances can really help it out, but in the end, it is not worth it for the Master League. Like, it only reaches 2,703 CP at level 40, or 2,737 if you equip it as your buddy if you want to get that extra damage. I will say this though, if you happen to get a Riolu from a 10km egg or a 10km Adventure Sync egg, click on the Appraise button to check its IVs, and if it's not a perfect IV, transfer it. I will say it is not worth building up a Lucario for PvP. If you want to build it up and use it for raids, that would be the best place for it. Not to mention that Lucario does in fact have a Mega Evolution coming out in the future, and I would love to see it happen though.